Hello, Widows Fire community. Hello and welcome, and thank you for gathering around the campfire with us today. I'm Julia, your host, founder of the Widows Fire community and dating site. We have a little something planned here. Myself and Mel, my co-host and an ally of Widows Fire. Mel and I have known each other most of our lives since I was probably 10 years old. She knew my late husband. She knew him well. She has witnessed the widowhood journey so far and supports and is seeking to understand better and help this community to grow in all the best ways possible. So thanks for being a part of this, Mel.
Thanks for having me. I'm very excited to be here and to talk about the gathering around the fire this holiday.
Yes, we're going to talk about the holidays, and we have a few other topics that we've picked out. So let's get started. First and foremost, if you're watching this, it is quite likely, I'm sure, you have lost someone, your partner specifically. And this is such a significant, massive loss. And we are thinking of and missing a person always, forever, for the rest of our lives. And I just want to take a moment to remember that person. So your person has a name, you lost your partner, and I'd like to welcome their loving energy into this discussion. Okay, checking in with yourself. This is your experience. This is your journey. Widow's Fire is about turning the frustrations into curiosity as much as possible and embracing what these flames are all about. So how is your fire burning today? How are you feeling within yourself, your sexuality, your sensuality, your life experience, your drive, your purpose, all things that represent what the fire means to you? And how is it coming out in your life? How are you expressing it? How are you holding it back? How are you suppressing it? Why did you join this community? What brought you here? And what is happening since joining? What's happening in your world ever since you joined and have started to understand that the fire is so normal and universal? So I've picked out a few topics that I think would be great to just bring into your awareness, and maybe you already have some reference points. We're going to start by looking at reasons why we join Widows Fire. When you join, you create a profile, you have a bio, you have a photo, and you put a status for what you're looking for, what you feel ready for. And we're going to look at how we sort of choose what that is. And we're going to lead into, from there, we're going to look at competing beliefs. And some of you may already be familiar with this, but I was more in the know of limiting beliefs and how we can, feel limited and not deserving of things that we want. But there's also such a thing as competing beliefs and wanting more than one thing at the same time. So I thought that was really interesting when we link it to Widow's Fire and what it's like to want things after you've lost someone, and you can sort of, your world opens up in this really bizarre new way. And from there, I'd like to move into an introduction to eroticism, which is maybe what you thought it was going to mean to you or not. Just going to sort of touch softly on it, gently, nothing too raunchy, nothing too spicy. Because at Widow's Fire, it's not just about sex. It's about all of the things that can mean to someone. Romance and eroticism and sexuality and linking all of that and creating and nurturing a relationship with it. And then we'll finish off by talking about the holidays, the upcoming holidays, how we're approaching the holidays, and we'll finish there. Widow's Fire profile statuses. What an interesting range of things that people are seeking to explore when they've lost their partner. So when you join the community, you are prompted to set up a profile with your photo and a bio, and then you write what you are looking for, what you're ready for. And we don't always know, and some people will put, not sure yet. And some people just want some support or friendship. I see a lot of companionship with a kiss and cuddle. I've seen some people put in casual sex, and others who are writing love and relationships. We don't always know for sure what we want. We can think we know what we want, and then anything can happen once you're in the community. And we have members who have hit it off as friends. I have a member who let me know that she and a widower, even though they're long distance, hit it off, very platonic, but really close friends now. And they're both so grateful to have that support and check-ins. And then recently, a member who thought he was just looking for casual sex has basically fallen in love with another member who was looking for a relationship, and they're now together. Another couple announced that they are together probably about 6 months ago. Recently, a couple of members celebrated their 1-year anniversary. Another couple got engaged and they're married with a blended family of 7 kids. So anything can happen. Widow's Fire is not just about, oh my gosh, this burning desire for sex. It's a burning desire for a lot of things. And when you join, you start at your starting point, and you can absolutely change your mind along the way. And you might connect and message with and meet up with someone who knows how it could develop. So your status is where you're at, and it's good to check in on that from time to time. And sometimes, it's okay to question it. Is that really what I want? Or is it just what I think I should want? Or the only thing I think I should be trying to get, or, not feeling particularly deserving of what you actually want, so you don't go ahead and say it. So something I've noticed recently are some members who have put their status as looking for a bit of everything. And that's really interesting because it can mean a lot of different things. It's not a very intentional status, but it's fair. It's fair to feel that way, because when you're widowed, you can really just do whatever you want. So I think it's good to check in probably what a bit of everything, where that's coming from. Is it that it is coming from a place of fear? I don't know how to want anything now. I don't know what to believe is possible. If it's about wanting to keep your options open and you're looking to explore, I think that's great too. So it's a perfectly appropriate status. It just has got me thinking about all the different things that could truly mean to a person, because we're having such individual experiences. And it's a bit of a vague way to present yourself, but that's fine. So it could mean that you are after just adventure and looking to explore, and it might mean that you want romance and you're just not sure in what form that's going to flow in. So you're going to sit back and see, and that's absolutely fine. So competing beliefs, and this is where I found the wanting a bit of everything status so intriguing to me, is that sometimes we think we know what we want, but we also want other things at the same level. And if you have joined Widow's Fire, I would like to believe that automatically you are a romantic person. And it is quite likely that because you miss being partnered, it would feel natural to seek that out again. I want to have that companionship, and I want to be able to snuggle up to someone and get into bed with someone at night and have a family and, expand and grow in life in these romantic ways. And I really relate to this, in that being married was so wonderful that it's just what I wanted again. As time has gone on and years have passed, and I've had so many experiences, and I've been parenting and dating, what can happen is new beliefs are formed, and we're not even necessarily conscious of them. And there is a part of us that might come to enjoy, especially if you were married for a very long time and you never really got a chance to know what it is to have your own space. Some widows and widowers that we meet, our members, they were in decades and decades long marriages, and now they have space to themselves. And there is something quite liberating. There's a lot of freedom. There are some perks to being on your own, and we can separate that out from, we've lost our partner, and it doesn't make it okay that they're gone now that we're enjoying aspects of our lives in these new ways. But a lot of people, actually, once you're widowed and time has passed, you don't necessarily want to share a bathroom with someone again. You don't want someone telling you necessarily what to do or make a comment about what you're cooking or eating or, what you're watching on TV. You can do whatever you want. So yes, I'm a romantic person and I would love to fall in love again. But also I really like having my own space and doing my own thing and having this independence. And two things are true at the same time. So if you're feeling frustrated about not having a relationship or being in a new relationship again, or how to navigate that, it can be that we do hold ourselves back sometimes. We don't know that that's what's going on. It's like having the parking brake on and your foot on the gas at the same time, and you don't understand why you're not getting anywhere. And this is my offering to widows and widowers to just bring into your awareness what some of your new beliefs might be and where that fits in with what you actually do want going forward. It's just something to tap into that might be helpful to look at what's driving you. What are the real beliefs that you're working off of? So competing beliefs, I think, definitely have a place in widowhood to be acknowledged and discussed. And you don't have to feel just one way about where life is going or what life is all about now once you're widowed. So yes, we are romantic, and maybe also now we are enjoying some of the perks of being on our own. So eroticism and the holidays at the same time. How are we going to bring these two things? We're going to start off by looking at what eroticism means and how we can tie it in with our fire. So eroticism, and I'm guilty of maybe not having put this together, that it's not sex. Eroticism is not sex. I thought of it, I really associated it with all things sexual. But it's sexuality transformed by the human imagination. So it's hours and hours alone. We have our own experience of what this means. It's not straightforward, not neat and tidy. It doesn't necessarily make any sense what we take to or drawn to or enjoy or don't like. And I think it can bring to the surface a lot of what's deeper inside us, and connecting to ourselves. So I bring up eroticism because it does not require a partner. You don't need to have someone in your life in order to have an erotic life and lifestyle. And I have a friend who described the way she moves through her day in a very romantic, she called it a romantic life, and said that she has her own erotic experiences at any given time of the day that anyone around her wouldn't even be aware she's having. So even something as simple as sitting in a coffee shop and drinking a cup of coffee for her can become an erotic experience. And I found it so inspiring to listen to her talk about life that way. And I thought it would be a really nice topic for widows and widowers, because without a partner, we can feel so left out of sexy stuff that goes on. And we sometimes save the idea of any sexy time or anything that is sensual for when we're in a sexual encounter or we have another body there present with us. So I think the fire, our flames, are often asking for erotic experiences, and it doesn't actually, the fire in our bodies, it doesn't necessarily, I don't think widow's fire necessarily cares if there's another person there or not. That could, I think a lot of that is when we get in our heads about our status and if we're single. And I think that's more in the mind, but I think our bodies can experience eroticism and sensuality on many levels anytime. So I'm wondering, as you're listening, where your mind went when I even said the word eroticism. And we have a reference here of Madonna, and I think it would be easy to default to that sort of understanding of what it is to be erotic. But Mel actually brought up and had this reference, which is so fantastic, of, yeah, go ahead, Mel.
Yes. And to your point, Julia, where we were thinking originally was around that sort of modern Madonna, erotic sex feeling. But when we dug deeper, the origin of the word actually comes from the Greek god of Eros, which means love. So I think that there are a lot of layers here to unpack.
Yes. Yeah, we've got our five senses, and we can always use them. And sometimes we forget to, or we don't really pay attention to what's going on. Mel, are you a crunchy or smooth peanut butter lover?
I prefer smooth, 100%.
I'm a crunchy gal. So that right there, I mean, it's unique. Our eroticism, how we relate to textures, flavors. Don't we like the feeling of the sun on us and that kind of heat and rain, and what we like, what we're okay with hearing around us. You know, some people love the chirping of birds, and others that would be such a turn off. And yeah, I mean, when you in the morning with your coffee, are you like get the coffee in ya, or do you savor it? Do you care? Does it need to be piping hot, or?
Yeah, I am a slow coffee drinker. The coffee moment is probably the most important of my day. And I only can drink it hot, and I will put it in the microwave for a good minute to get it back to hot, because I have 2 young children, which makes it often hard to drink a hot coffee. But it's one of my most favorite moments of the day.
Yeah, I love that. A ritual.
Yes.
We have rituals, and some of them we really prioritize and really appreciate. And then sometimes we just forget. It's mindfulness, and we don't necessarily look around and notice all the beautiful things we can see. And the other day I was really feeling the crunch of the snow underneath my feet as I was walking. I really heard and felt this crispy, crunchy sound and feeling. And I was like, that's really cool. I kind of just tapped into it. And then later I was sitting in a sauna, and I could feel the drops of sweat just like dribbling down around my body. And I was trying to just be really conscious of that feeling. And then you get to ask yourself, like, do I like this? Is this like, does this feel good? And there's just something about slowing down in our day at any point. Anything we're doing, we could decide to feel erotic about it. And that doesn't mean sexual. It doesn't mean we feel sexual about it. It means there's something there that turns us on, energizes us, and activates the senses that are happening all the time. So something to bring into our experience, widows and widowers. Sometimes we just close off. We just shut down. We don't want to feel, or we are afraid to feel. And by feeling, sometimes there's an anxiety that it's all going to be too much and too overwhelming. And we don't want to be too much in our reality, because our reality has the absence of this person we were always used to having. So it's like 1 foot in, 1 foot out of anything that's going on in our day when you're in grief. So here are a few examples and invitations of ways to be in touch with your body, connect with your body, have a relationship with your body. And I think it's a tricky thing to do, to reconnect, rediscover, and start to evolve in widowhood in new ways than what you've always been used to. So just some simple things, simple sensations, I think are a great place to start. And Mel, I was going to get us to do this forearm exercise, whereby you basically just, with a couple of fingers from your elbow to your wrist, you just move along your arm and just feel what that feels like. And just that. And is it, do you like the tickly feeling? Is it too tickly? Is it too soft? It's like, if someone was doing this to you, would you say that you want it lighter, harder? And then can you do it again, but slower than you just did it? And for me, that can really bring up sometimes a feeling of impatience, like, ooh, like I can feel an internal rushedness that happens.
More impatient myself, although this area is so full of nerve endings for me. It's very sensitive. So I enjoy it, but I do also have this other part in me where I feel the impatience. But the longer I do it, the easier it gets.
I like that. Once you actually train yourself to slow down, because it doesn't necessarily come naturally. And it's like, well, I just get to the wrist, and then what's she going to say next?
Yeah.
Next. Yeah. Yeah. See, that's just touch with ourselves. And when someone says, oh, how do you feel about touching yourself? Like, where do our minds automatically go? But
right.
Touching yourself can mean all kinds of things. And that is connection with yourself. That's you having a relationship with your body, in the shower, washing, feeling the temperature of the water. And we do skip over a lot of stuff. We're just trying to get to the next thing. And particularly in grief, so much resentment and just wanting to get to better days. Like, can I skip ahead to a better time? And there's just a lot of wishing days away and wanting to skip over things like the holidays. It's like, I just want to get it done. You just don't want to be where you are. I think that's the tie into the eroticism is to be the eroticism, it equals being present, like being in the present moment. And I think a lot of us, life not being what we wanted it to be, like someone died and we just don't want it to be the way it is, means rejecting the present moment. So eroticism brings us back into that. And so I think it's just, again, an invitation to try a few simple things that could start to allow like a reawakening and just a gentle return to self, wherever you are. So when we work on connecting with ourselves, getting in touch with ourselves, it then allows for us to be in the world in a new way and allow life to happen and unfold around us, because we have a more true connection with ourselves. It can steady us and ground us. And then you've got this fire within that you've been getting to know. And then you can go out into the world in this fun, fiery way, or in a new way, where you're actually offering something, an energy that is more erotic and calm and centered, and romantic, because you've really touched base and are grounded within yourself. So eroticism can help us flow in and towards the holiday season, because there are so many sensory experiences that happen around that time with gatherings of people, social scenarios, food and drink. And there are a lot of opportunities to feel, and the fire wants to live and exist and feel and burn. And it wants you to go out and gather all kinds of different kindling so it can crackle and you can be alive and live a full life. So the holidays are a tricky time, but it is an opportunity to cozy up with yourself. Maybe you are repartnered, or you're dating, or you've broken up with someone, and it's, you know, whatever's going on for you, this is where community comes in really nicely for you to get that support. But when you're out in the world, what can you feel and see and taste and touch? And if it's all getting a bit too much, if you're at a family gathering, can you step outside and hear the quiet? You've removed yourself, just hear the quiet and breathe in some nice fresh air and just feel that. And take your time and then return and have your glass and feel the glass and the weight of the glass and find that mindfulness, sip your drink and taste the flavors and connect and hug your family and smile and feel it. And if the grief wave rolls in and crashes in and hits you hard, sometimes the best thing you can do at the end of the day is feel the feeling that's coming. And we hold back. Sometimes we resist going into the feeling because we think it's going to be too big and bad and scary. But once you're in it, it's almost over. It's like going into it allows it to exist and move through you. And then you can keep moving. The community really is a great place to drop in, pop in anytime you need us. Members all around the world are having all these different kinds of experiences, and there will often be something that resonates with you or you can relate to in the posts and the threads. So thank you so much, and more soon. Stay hot. People are messaging privately. I don't know what's going on, what people get up to, but then I find out about these relationships and it's like, okay, great.